Hey guys, it's Jordan here to bring you guys a video on my node setup for 350 CP. So I'm going to kind of go over my whole empire, and just to let you guys know, I do have worker lodging in every town basically. I bought all that out in the Pearl shop, so I basically can get 3 free workers um, every town. So I can save my CP and use stuff for other stuff. Um, so we'll just start from Olvia, and then we'll make our way around, and I'll kind of explain some extra stuff that I picked up that isn't necessary for my empire, and then I'll kind of go over stuff that I feel like is necessary for my specific empire. So these two nodes are what I would call extra. So I basically have some extra CP that I will use for these nodes. This costs 3 CP. It's just a copper node. It's an extra copper one because I feel like I'm getting too much zinc and too much tin that my copper isn't, catching up. So that's why I have that node. Same thing with ash. I feel like my maple nodes or I have too much maple timber that I'm not getting enough ash. So that's what those are for. These are like extra nodes that I have. I don't take the grape node anymore because I'm kind of at a point where I can now sort of focus more on money. I don't really need the extra grapes. I could continue to just keep building up my CP, but um, I'm not really hardcore going on CP. Uh, Basically, I hit kind of a hard cap, so um, that's why I don't have that node. Uh, but if I do, for some reason, want the node, then I'll end up picking it back up. So these are kind of like extra nodes. We'll make our way to Velia. I have the iron and copper node here, and this is just for steel and bronze brass crates. Over here we have the thing that basically powers up my whole entire empire, the chicken meat. This is to make chicken beer or grilled bird meat. Basically, over time, I had a bunch, and like as you can tell, I got 141K. So this is gonna last me a long time. On top of my workers will just keep continuing to bring in more, so then I can, it's just infinite cooking basically. So I can keep my empire going. Um, Another thing, we got ash timbers, going to be for Balanos crates. Same thing right here, another ash and another ash. Um, so I got in total 1, 2, 3, 4 ash nodes going. Right here, I picked up arrow mushrooms because I'm dipping into alchemy, and I forget what I need them for, but I know there's a recipe that I use arrow mushrooms for, so that's why I picked up that node. Um, Over here, I picked up maple timber. I don't have copper on these nodes, and the reason why is because I don't have enough lodging to pick those up, and I would rather prefer to have arrow mushrooms over copper. If I was to switch it, then I would just get the copper node, and then I could uninvest in this copper node. And yeah, basically just workers. I don't feel like also connecting from Olvia all the way down in order to have a worker go through. I don't have like that extra CP to do that. We also picked up the Trace of Earth and Accession, mainly for the Trace of Earth. That's why I have that node. And basically, what makes an empire amazing is if you can get artisan workers. So I've been playing the game for about a year and 2 months, and like as you can look at all my workers, I basically only have orange or yellow. I'm eventually gonna have all orange. The majority of mine is orange, but I do still have a couple yellows that I need to promote or work towards getting all artisans. so I can bring in the maximum amount of material the quickest. So that's one thing to keep note on, that even if you have a ton of CP, your workers are what determine how much materials you're gonna get. So you do want to keep trying to promote your workers so you can have a really nice empire. For Heidel, we have the honey and the pumpkin. I have this for cooking. And over here we have trace of savagery, and then over here I have maple timber. And then as we go down here, I have trace of origin and trace of hunting, basically mainly for the trace of origin for alchemy. And then sometimes I will have this dwarf mushroom, but I'm kind of overstocked on dwarf mushrooms, so I've been switching with this tiger mushroom right here at Kamid Temple. Down here we have another maple timber, again for Balanos, so trying to balance maple timber and ash timbers for Balanos crates. That's basically what those nodes are for. Over here are going to be extra nodes, so these are just kind of extra CP that I put in. Another iron and lead. The reason why I picked lead was for trash crates. So because I have sort of extra CP, I'm also still continuing to try to push trading up. So this is where I decided I wanted to make trash crates at, because Guarana I'm making money crates at, and I currently don't have +3 crates in Guarana, so I do have a +3 ore in Calpheon, and that's just where I'm gonna do trash crates for now. I think in the long-term goal, if I can get +3 in Grana, then I'll be able to probably be able to throw over my trash crate items also in Grana and just kind of rotate trash or money crates, depending on whatever, or basically whenever I'm building up money crates, then switch with trash crates whenever I need that material from processing. Hopefully that kind of makes sense. Also with Heidel, what we're also connected at, I'm connected here again for Trace of Earth for alchemy. Here zinc for brass and bronze. I forget which one it is, I just say brass bronze. I'm also connected up here for white cedar and acacia, and these two are going to be from Medea crates. Just building up more materials, so when I process, I like to rotate, so I'll make Balanos, then I'll make Calpheon, then I'll make Medea, then I'll make I'll just keep rotating them as my workers keep continuing to bring up more materials. So that's why I have those nodes. And these are all Heidel workers. So I basically get 3 free Heidel, and then I've invested into these 3, which I got away from this one because it costs 3 CP, but I got away from that one just to save some CP. And yeah, I feel like these are really, really good nodes that I like for the way my empire works. And then these are my extra ones. So now I'll move over to Calpheon. Like I said, I'm doing trash crates on top of money crates to keep pushing up my trading. Because I do a lot of AFK stuff. And this is why I think having a lot of CP is really important, because in IRL, you're going to have whatever pop up. It's not like you can just dedicate, 10 hours every single day or whatever amount of time you want to play the game. So I always feel like having a lot of CP is just going to benefit you in the long run versus not having a lot of CP. Yeah, we got lead, and basically I'm using my palm timber, which I'll go later into Valencia about that. Basically, workers have been getting coconuts, so I use the palm timber for trash crates also. So yeah, we got palm timber and lead ore going. We also picked up this for the trace of battle, trace of forest. We picked up this birch and tin and birch and cedar. We picked up these nodes for Calpheon crates, the birch and cedar. I didn't pick up this birch because it's just too much CP. It's like 6 CP or something like that just for that birch node. And on top of it, I already get enough birch in my rotation of processing that I don't need any extra birch. And I'm starting to get too much cedar, so sometimes I'll just throw cedar on the market, or I'll process it down and sell the plywood while still making enough crates and stuff like that. It just depends on what I want to do. Over here at Port Euphoria, we have 3 of the fish nodes, and this is basically, I mean, so far all I've used it for is for good feed. So I can make my own pet food. Almost have all artisan workers on that, so I just let them build up fish, and then I'll convert that into good feed. Excuse me. I think there's a cooking recipe also I can use for like fish fillet or something like that for Imperial. Yeah. We'll come down here to Trent, same thing, picking up all the cedar and fir nodes. And then I also have the pine timber and pine sap. So I'll either use pine timber for trash crates, or I'll use it for something else. Maybe make plywood sturdy or something like that for sailing, people who sail. And then I use the pine sap for alchemy. And then same thing here, tin, fir, and then I also have this for the trace of violence for alchemy. Basically, in the long run, to make giant elixirs for whenever I do want to grind or PvP. Down here, now this looks all crazy, right? You're like, what the hell is this? This is basically me having 2 extra workers plus the 3 free ones. Now I only run 2 crates at the moment. I took out my sunflower and olives, and now I've been kind of focusing on alchemy and cooking with my farms instead of just crates. So I don't have to spend that CP, but maybe in the long run, I don't know if I'll decide to change that or not. And the reason why is because I have 5 workers. So we have 2 that are working on those crates, and then I got 1 over here, I got 1 down here, and then I have 1 right here. And because I'm not active enough to use my energy to just keep trying to roll artisans and then leveling them up to 20, and then if I don't get the skill, then I'll delete the worker, fire the worker, and then keep rolling for artisan, and then repeat, rinse and repeat until I get the +3. I've been just letting our workers gather random things to get the XP, so then I can re-roll the skill. So far I've been at it for, I think, 2 months, and I haven't been able to roll the skill. So I don't know when my RNG will hit. Who knows, maybe in a year I still won't have it. But that's sort of how I'm building up the XP so I can get the +3 workers. And then once I get the +3 timber and +3 ore, then what I'll end up doing is I'll end up firing the other 3 workers that don't have it, and I will take out the CP out of this, and I'll probably invest it into farms or more materials for trading. So yeah, that's that. So that's Grana. We've already gone over Trent. We've gone over Calpheon. Keplon. Over here I just have the coal node. tariff, I don't have any, but I may pick up cinnamon or cotton or something like that. Who knows, maybe in the long run they'll eventually make cinnamon something worthwhile. Sorry. Over here in Alton Nova, we have coal, zinc, iron, zinc, same thing. These nodes for trading. Now over here in Sandgrain, I went down through here to pick up the bag of muddy water, purified water. So this is going to be for alchemy. This is really, really good node for alchemy. Basically, so you don't have to keep continuing to gather water. If you do have an alt that gathers water and then you convert it to purified water, you instead could gather something else and then have this node. And this is going to be more like endgame CP. This isn't going to be that worth it, you know, if you don't have that much CP. But definitely good for alchemy. It's just free purified water and bags of muddy water, which you can just process into purified water. So that's how I've been building up my purified water for some alchemy stuff. I also picked up this node, Elder Tree, and this is just going to be, this is like an extra node. I use this for trash crates. And then over here, I picked up the copper node and rough opals. I think eventually I'm going to have an alt just for coral, so I can start making some weight belts and other stuff using coral with. So yeah, that's kind of why I have this node, and it's a really good copper node. Over here in Shakatu, I don't have anything. However, occasionally I'll switch my CP around and I'll get the Vanadium ore, but it's not really recommended. It's like 8 CP or something like that right here, and I'll use that for money crates later. Down here in Valencia, I'll kind of alternate. I was getting Day Palm Day Palm, but I'm not really trying to push Guru 20, so in cooking, I did hit Guru 1, but I'm not, headstrong about XP, so I kind of stopped focusing on XP for cooking, and I just went ahead and picked up the coconut nodes, which then I can use for money later, and then on top of that, palm timber for trash crates. And then over here, some extra CP in Vanadium and Titanium, just building these up. These are going to be for money crates, and the rough opal will be for whatever I feel like, or whatever I need it for. Other than that, I believe that is my whole empire. It's basically based off trading and a lot of AFK time. I forgot. And then we have 7 large farms, which I'm growing. I'm doing magic for money and for alchemy. Some milk, and we're doing a bunch of random things like garlic, fireflake, tiger mushrooms, onions, pepper, bluffer mushrooms, stuff like that. I'll alternate my farms. So semi-AFK, I have something going on every day. But pretty much my empire can just run by itself, and if I didn't have farms, then I would have 70 extra CP that I could just put into a bunch of extra nodes and get workers and stuff like that, and then I could just totally, play the game AFK, basically feed my workers every day and then just go do whatever. So it's up to you how you want to build your empire. This is just currently how I have my empire, and so pretty much the nodes that are just extra, Elder Tree, the Vanadium and Titanium, those are kind of extra. These two are extra, and same thing with the Olvia, these are extra. And yeah, other than that, that's pretty much my whole empire. If you guys have any questions about my empire, or if you have any questions or want to know something, just let me know. Thank you guys for watching my video on 350 CP, and you guys have a good day. Come on, go mouse. There we go.